his husband, Dylan. He and I had history. Not that kind, but enough. Last year, during a PR crisis, he was the only exec who treated me like I wasn't Jim. I say this outrageous because never refused change.
Maybe if I wait long enough, something will happen.
I don't know what the fuck happened, chat. But like, my whole system shut completely the fuck down.
Come on, dude. Give me a break.
Violence solves all of life's problems. Oh God, my friends.
Much more fun on this side of the fight. Loser pants.
Your mama hits better.
Meltdown investor thread. One of our influencers had posted a TikTok comparing our campaign to a Ponzi scheme with fonts. Chino was conveniently off-grid at a women's leadership retreat in Sedona, Rihanna.
Please tell me you've refreshed your tabs, though.
I stayed late with 2 red bulls in a spreadsheet that could have doubled as a manifesto. By sunrise, the investor was gone. The campaign salvaged. And then, well, Dylan started calling me the one who actually runs this place. He remembered that. So, when I texted him last Tuesday for the
Also, for your sake. Double stitch your skin. Why?
Bullbush Academy.
places with the priestess who write your name purpose to feel superior. I've heard government tea. He got black coffee. Looked like he hadn't slept since Easter. Didn't think I'd hear from him again. He said, watching the street behind me more than my face. You're going to want to see this. I slid a folder across the table. Like
Shall we get started then? And please, no talking.
Printed screenshots, payment routing summaries, and a beautifully indexed chart I titled the Digital Ledger. Not even sarcastically, it tracked everything. Stipends were routed through shadow vendors. Wellness reimbursements paid to interns who never got on board. And more like hush money than merit pay. Dylan didn't say anything for a while. Then, Jesus, not quite, I said. Major in accounting. He kept flipping page after page. Each one of them
God damn it.
My resignation and regret. I'm gonna make a call. I said, you still trust Claire with my afterlife? He nodded. She's my attorney now. Simple as that. Phrase. And suddenly, Jenna's firewall had a crack the size of a toast. We didn't toast. Just
It's all right, Gina. I have days like that too.
Meanwhile, back at Ari State HQ, the smallest cracks in search. Jenna's Outlook calendar refused to send. Her usual priority threads were populating. A deck sheet emailed or came back corrupted, replaced by an older draft with all her redline notes exposed. It was subtle enough to chalk up to tech issues, but not so subtle she didn't feel it. She started CCing herself on everything, repeating tasks, snapping at it. At one point, she even called the help desk and said, "It feels like the system's turning on me." I bet it did because it was. I hadn't hacked anything. I didn't need to. All I did was activate a little network I'd built over the years. Assistants, developers, admins who owed me favors, or just hated Jenna enough to press the wrong button when asked. Someone swapped out her draft folder with a decoy. Someone accidentally unsensed her Slack history. Someone flagged her Zoom link as phishing and sent her to voicemail during a partner call. She thought she was being targeted by ghosts in the machine. She wasn't wrong, just not the kind she expected. The Monday after I left felt like waking up after a thunderstorm you slept through. Quiet. I made myself a fresh breakfast, fed my non-existent caffeine.
Okay, so that's how I get that up.
It's a gun, don't
I wasn't nervous.
Greetings.
I wasn't even curious. I was ready in that deeply specific way only a woman who's been underestimated for 7 years can be. It's not vengeance if it's methodical. It's closure.
Hey, I'm Jimmy. Hey, tight.
Sometimes it's
See ya.
I can tell Mom about that. Showing it.
You suck. Think I don't know where you live, kid? And why do you think I care? Come on, I'm cool. What are you looking at, punk? Man, that's so
I
mean.
started a rumor.
Should we just turn this into a fight? Why are you doing this? What the hell are you talking about? Come on, I'm cool. You know it's funny.
voice crystal clear. The timestamp was
You better make sure I'm dead when you're finished.
clearing. Receive this warning appears serious. May merit internal review. One board member, a man who never remembered my name, but once complimented my fiscally responsible handwriting, replied simply, "Review immediately." And just like that, the fuse I lit with a mimosa and a smile finally hit the powder. Jenna, meanwhile, must have thought she dodged a bullet. She came in that day wearing white, actual white, like some sort of purity cosplay, and told the front desk she was ready to refocus now that the distraction's gone. She gave someone a thumbs up in the elevator. Probably thought the weird glitches last week were just some Gen Z interns' incompetence. She had no clue she was already in free fall. She didn't notice legal was CCing each other more than usual. Didn't notice the head of compliance skipped their 10 a.m. stand-up. Didn't even flinch her email permissions and start acting weird again. But she did notice the through the front door. No security badge, no smile, just a stiff jaw and a manila envelope in his hand. He walked straight past reception, ignored the coworker who tried to say good morning, and entered HR without knocking. Cameras caught the whole thing. His hand gripped the file like it was a weapon. The way he closed the door without a sound.
That's it, you're dead.
A certified statement from his new legal rep, Claire Iron Reader, a formal notice of divorce, a summary of alleged financial mismanagement supported by internal documents. Once Mara Reigns had come across during her tenure, and in good faith passed along to it. The head of HR asked me to say I just wanted to erase myself. He said,
Whoa!
as quietly as he came, the invite to the building buzzed like a horned nest dipped in gasoline. Jenna tried to act calm. She asked for kombucha, asked why legal was locked in a meeting without her, asked if it was doing another random sweep. Nobody answered. Back in my apartment, I refreshed the news. Nothing yet. Too early. I smiled and added oat milk to my coffee. Storm's here. Let it rain. Jenna found out the way all powerful people fear secondhand.
All right, you feckless maggots. We'll be playing dodgeball for the next while. Ah, dodgeball. How I love the sound of boys crying in the morning. Much like real life, the strongest will prevail. All right, you lazy bums, look alive. I want everyone to give their best, boys, their best.
For legal separation notice, Drick, VJ, Price the signature. Claire Iron were in arrest. Jenna's hand shook as she spoke. Her face blanched halfway down the page. She didn't scream.
Everyone
We got the power of friendship behind our team.
Nobody speaks. You want to give up now?
Marcy shook her head, then made herself scarce when she had seen herself.
You don't have a chance to get team nerd. I smell acne.
You guys don't have a hope in heck of winning. We did it! We won!
We're gonna win! This is gonna be easy! The only way not to lose, you forget that I'm an expert!
Just give up now! We got the power of friendship behind our team!
Look up! We won this clip! They're getting scared! Teach them the meaning of fear!
You guys make me look bad!
By 3 o'clock p.m., she had her calendar wiped accidentally.
I'm the best!
The expense system due to compliance realignment. And
Pokeballs out.
discovered a file
And done.
labeled MM Legacy Access. She clicked it. Inside, three subfolders, one labeled onboarding, one labeled conflict history, and one called red flags. All of them bore her digital signature. All of them last edited 4 days after Mara left. That was impossible, except it wasn't. The system didn't lie. The timestamps lined up. The metadata pointed to her credentials, to her laptop, to her. She called it. They ran diagnostics. Found no malware, no breaches. Could be user error, one tech said, clearly not realizing she was one user error away from strangling someone with a USB cord. No one accesses my files, Jenna hissed. Not without me knowing. The tech glanced at the folder again. Well, someone did for the rest of the day. Jenna roamed the office like a ghost with Wi-Fi. Cold, glitchy, and glitching harder by the hour. She paced the halls like they were shrinking. Doors stayed closed as she walked past. Conversations hushed. She barked orders, and nobody barked back. Her power didn't collapse all at once. It frayed quietly, one cord of time, and every tug revealed how little she had built herself. Meanwhile, upstairs on the 5th floor, Claire's new office door remained closed, but the lights were on. The first lockout hit at 8:12 a.m. sharp. Jenna opened her laptop, clicked into the finance portal to approve her weekly bonus release. Yes, weekly, because nothing says leadership like compensating yourself every Friday, and got the red screen of death. Access denied. She tried again. Same result. She refreshed, restarted, smashed her mouse like an owed her money.
I'm gonna try out for QB next.
Says I don't have permissions to access the files directly.
Moving along.
Excuse me. Access was revoked by the audit team. Standard procedure or directive. Audit team. They said, she hung up, dialed down. Voicemail, of course.
Oh, you got me.
Because at that very moment, Dylan was across the city in a glass wall office, seated next to Claire Rayner, laying out a multi-tab spreadsheet filled with executive irregularities. Jake Rice, source, file, confirmed, and rates. Every dollar accounted for. Every boutique wellness vendor that billed $1,000 for energy cleansing and turned out to be the side hustle of a CrossFit trainer. Jenna was definitely
Hi!
just
How's it
that.
going?
Claire spoke calmly as Dylan nodded.
Learn how to direct.
Substructure built under your COO's login, Dylan, but the signatures don't match. We're talking ghost accounts, falsified contractor invoices.
Give it back! Or what? Well, just give it back! Are you threatening me, Metal Mouth? No, just give it back!
You just signed the Declaration of Disclosure and asked what time the board meeting was. Back at Ariston, Jenna stormed into the executive boardroom with the fury of a sinkhole in stilettos. What the hell is going on? She demanded 9 board members. A long silence. The chairman cleared his throat. An internal audit has been initiated. Accounting concerns. Compliance.
Can't believe you are
Expense anomalies. Who initiated it? Dylan Price.
Somebody wants to be handled.
Actually left. Then she slapped the table with a punch. This is a damage. I'm just jealous because I couldn't balance it. You had the balls to fire that way.
You want a piece of me?
Someone whispered. This. Jenna froze. Her face flushed from throat to cheekbone. She stood in silence for a full 6 seconds, then hissed. You don't look. Do you know what I've done for this place? The chairman replied. You're about to find out. That afternoon, workforce slammed metaphorically and physically. Jenna's Slack admin rights revoked. Her expense card frozen. Her executive assistant mysteriously out sick. Meanwhile, Claire's paralegal, wearing the Lions comms blazer, began sending HR packages titled witness statements submitted anonymously. Each one described the same pattern. Erratic leadership, expense manipulation,
Get away with that.
I'll be right there! Just have to get something from my locker!
This is a restricted area, Smear White.
That hurt you much more than it hurt me.
So did legal. So did the board. Jenna
God damn it.
apex predator in a glass tower. She didn't realize she was the only
Oh,
Jimmy,
Jimmy!
seems like
in a trail of breadcrumbs dipped in gasoline. I watched it unfold like a fireworks show I didn't buy a ticket for, but but somehow got front row seats. My new apartment sat 5 stories above a quiet coffee
Time
shop.
to pay back the faculty for all their kindness.
Beige cubicles.
I don't think you know what kindness means.
8 a.m., so I wouldn't get dinged for being tardy.
All right, Hopkins, that's enough.
Just chin up wearing last week's blazer and a grim little smile stitched
You can
across
count on Jim.
practiced it in the rearview mirror. The lobby had changed. Subtle but deliberate. The flowers were going. The reception.
I don't want any trouble.
Someone you didn't recognize. And the TV.
I probably don't have a chance, but I really like you. Everybody hates you. Will you hang out with me?
Oh, it's what's his name?
You're sweet.
No thanks.
Hey, fancy a kiss?
She stopped walking.
I wish I could make my
Jenna Price, the self-appointed architect of Kristen's future, body glowing wrinkles. Claire Rayner looked up from the HR table like she'd been expecting her. Jenna, she said, not unkindly. Jenna stood there like she'd been shot, eyes glassy, lips parted, skin drained of that tip bronze. She kept up with the appointments and good writing. She didn't say a word, just dropped her purse, collapsed into the nearest chair like a marionette whose strings had finally snapped. Claire folded her hands calmly, tilted her head. Why, sure. Would you like to discuss your exit strategy? HR didn't even flinch. The cameras were already with them. Jenna didn't answer, but her throat worked around some invisible hole. Her nails dug into crescent bones into her own palms, and her gaze fell to the floor where her own reflection in the polished tile looked up at her like an accusation. Somewhere upstairs, her name was being scrubbed from the shared drive. Her permissions revoked. Her title rescinded, not with trauma, but with precision. The same kind of surgical precision she thought she was known for. She hadn't lost the game. She was never playing it.
Give it back! Or what? Or, well, just give it back! Are you
A veil of fog and expensive silence. Jenna sat alone in what used to be her luxury condo, now half empty and echoing. Her phone buzzed once, just once. Voicemail, unknown number. She tapped it and heard my voice. Calm, clear, final. You were right. I wasn't executive material. I was something worse.
Hey, Gary, I need to get something from Mandy's locker.
I'm not surprised. You know, you should put a stink bomb in there. Anything. I despise weak people.
Every exhale of punishment. Because by the time she realized I wasn't coming from the ground, it was already in my back pocket. Sometimes
I need a friend.
Platypus identical to show affection for care to the safety reasons and societal standards. Male platypus have a very strong care of
After 20 years of service, the new HR head slid a box across the table and demanded my badge. I just emailed my lawyer, replied all with a link to my original contract for gun clause. The CFO called me 5 minutes later. There has to be a mistake. We can't afford $18 million equity payout right now. I knew something was off when I walked in the right now. My level like a Kiermont cracked in two. Other victims.
I'll be right there. Just have to get something from my locker.
Office reports. 3 CFOs.
Coming with me!
She called me hard about the legacy knowledge like it was smart. You don't last 20 years in operations without learning to read rooms the way a poker player reads faces. And something in the building had shifted. Like the air mixed in the way she walked in with her culture.
That's all you can do.
She realized that she'd been hired to kill all the old characters. Let me pause here for 1 second.
Get back here, right now!
90% of your rooms to me like corporate during budget season. If that's subscribed up, have the light on. It keeps our little team fueled with caffeine and sweat. Now, back to the slow motion of the crash. That was Caitlin's idea of pure magic. She started small, the cage, reception.
You can do your best, but I will compete!
Campaign was less about supplements and more about making the sound we have.
You're beneath my
I was a front too old to be trendy, too experienced to be cheap, and too steady to be micromanaging, which made me invisible until I was like, I admitted that.
Here you go.
Oh, Jimmy, thank you. You're wonderful.
You're even better up close.
Never tried to revamp ops. Fire drills that
Thank you for being my partner for this project.
anyone smells.
I'm good. What can I say?
No corporate megatron involved. Caitlin didn't understand people like me. She wanted unicorns, hungry, young, overly caffeinated, willing to cry on TikTok about
I'm clearly...
I was a boss, according to her hallway whisperers. Reliable but outdated, like a fax machine that still worked too well to throw out, but embarrassed you in meetings. She started canceling out check-ins.
Hey, Beatrice, what's wrong?
Two things. Firstly, my cold sores are totally acting up now.
Ew, gross.
Secondly, Mr. Hatrick saw me writing in my diary during class, and he took it and he locked it in his desk. And he says he's going to give it to the principal tomorrow. If anyone sees what's in there, I will just die. It's really personal.
Yeah, well, nothing like having the whole school know your deepest secrets. Makes your teenage years go by in a flash.
Yeah, well, you'll soon find out.
Me? Why?
In the diary, I talk a lot about you and me.
What? There is no you and me.
Yeah, there is. See, first you rescued my notes from Mandy, and then we fell in love, and you brought me flowers, and wrote me poetry, and showed this kinder, sensitive side that soon the whole world is gonna know about. We're like doomed lovers.
Enough. Okay, I'll get your book back.
Then we can kiss. The cold sores aren't contagious once they start to scab over.
Smelling like fresh laminate, and whatever perfume she marinates in that makes her eyes sting. On the table sat a cardboard box, standard issue, brown, empty. Beside it, a single piece of paper flipped face down. I didn't sit. Caitlin folded her hands.
I need more growth.
Like a pastor about to read a eulogy for someone she'd never met. Laura, she began in that grounded voice being used with toddlers and care workers undergoing some realignment in the org structure leaderships, making bold moves toward future facing operations, and unfortunately your position.
This might be useful.
With our strategic priorities. Translation: we want younger, cheaper, louder. She slid the paper across the table like she was dealing a poker card she knew would ruin. The letter was printed on letterhead so generic it looked like it had been downloaded from the inside.
there's a new kid in town? Right? No,
Silence to the right now. It sounded like a war drone, and mine echoed. People noticed. Heads peeked out of cubicles. I started toward me as I passed. You stood halfway as if about to speak.
All right, let's get some Pokeballs in the chat.
I just walked that stupid box down the hallway like it held something sacred instead of 20 years of corporate indifference. Inside the elevator, I stared at the panel, my reflection flickering in the mirrored walls. Caitlin thought she'd won, that she just checked a box on some spreadsheet titled Legacy Elimination. But here's the thing about spreadsheets. They don't account for consequences. They don't see what's been buried in a drawer for 2 decades, waiting for its resurrection. By the time the elevator doors opened, I had already begun building a plan in my head. Not from spite, but protocol. The same protocol I used to save their asses 100 times over when systems fail or contracts went sideways or compliance flagged an issue 3 hours before a deadline. I was always calm, always careful, always prepared. The sunlight hit me as I stepped outside. It felt fake, like the kind of warmth they pump into Vegas casinos to trick your circadian rhythm. I walked to my car, parked in the exact same spot I'd parked in since before Caitlin was out of college. Set the box on the passenger seat, sat, closed the door. Then I exhaled just once and pulled out my phone. There was a folder in my cloud drive titled plainly "In Case of Emergency." No emojis, no fluff, just decades of receipts, scans, email chains, and one very specific document from 2004. My original contract signed in ink before the company had an app, before anyone gave a damn about future-facing anything. I opened it, scrolled, and found the clause, the one I had highlighted, printed, and saved not once, but 3 separate times over the years, because I knew someday someone younger and dumber would think they could erase me without reading the fine print. The air in the car was still thick with that artificial lemon scent from the air freshener I kept needing to replace. I sat there, hands steady on the steering wheel, like I was about to merge onto a highway instead of detonate a quiet little bomb. The box was next to me on the seat, its weight disproportionate to what it held. One stapler proof, my dog in a Halloween costume, a dried-out highlighter, and a USB.
You really want to pee in my butt?
Oh, there you are. Did you get it?
Yes, I did. And I didn't read it. Much.
Much obliged.
Password I hadn't changed in 17 years. The name of my first Dropbox folder in case
I hope it gets easier.
employment contract 2004.
There was never any doubt.
On page 17. I remember it like a birthday, buried underneath leaves.
How can I be...
It had taken 3 meetings and one very irritated junior attorney back then to get it added. This is excessive, he'd said. Nobody gets their money after 15 years without one. I'd smiled and said, good, then it won't cost you anything. Scroll to the line that mattered. In the event of involuntary termination after 15 years of continuous service, the tenant should vest immediately at the market value on date of termination. Simple, elegant, 15 years. I'd given them 20. And the current market value, let's just say the CNBC darling over the last 5 years. We were sorry, which meant so was my equity.
I'm running out of cash to buy.
Posed the email to James, my lawyer of 15 years. The subject line, need you to read this carefully. Terminated today. No caps, no period. Just the file attached in a single sentence. See page 17. Termination was today at 9:07 a.m. Lead on next steps. Click send. Then I set the tablet down, leaned back, and waited. The sky outside had gone flat gray like the world was holding its breath with me. Exactly 7 minutes later, my tablet turned. Subject, we need you to read this carefully. Terminated today. And the first words made me smile in a way I hadn't all week. Well. He detached the contract again, highlighted, annotated, citation, and copied both the General Counsel's office and the CFO system. Since Keitlin's contact was conveniently absent from the public court chart, his message short and deadly. Dear Mara, as per the attached original
Guy
contract,
can be real jerks at school sometimes.
and now action. Your involuntary termination as of 9:07 a.m. today activates clause 17B, triggering immediate acceleration of all unvested equity. Given current share prices, estimated payout exceeds $10.2 million. Please advise if they request negotiation. Best James and right below that, the recipient list. They don't see it now. No fanfare, no vengeance speech, just clean execution. I didn't feel powerful. I felt precise. They'd sworn the axe. I built the floorboards out of steel. And now they'll fuck on the gunning. I felt ready before I even left the parking lot. Not a text, not an email.
Hey, you look nice.
He and I had maybe spoken.
Hey, Nice.
Fatty has arrived! I wish I could get a game. No one inside.
Now his name was lighting up my screen like a flare gun, and something about that made me laugh quietly, bitterly.
Alright, that's just chemistry. I don't need to do that right now.
He said, and I could hear
I have mastered that class. Mwahaha.
Did you authorize that email from your lawyer? I didn't answer immediately. I wanted him to sit with the question. I rolled my window halfway down.
Alright, where's the next thing then?
I forwarded a document. He replied, but this clause, this payout, it wasn't flagged during your call. Didn't budget for this. Not this quarter. Not ever. I could practically hear him clicking through spreadsheets in his mind, watching numbers bleed red. That sounds like an internal issue. I replied flatly. There was a pause. I could hear muffled voices in the background. Someone saying retroactive clause, another muttering. What year was it signed? It sounded like a poker table where someone just realized they'd bet the company car on a pair of sevens. We need to talk through options.
Move, nerd!
How original. Call me a nerd. What next? 4 eyes? Sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me.
You ass book. What's this? Class tourist.
Class president, dummy. It says class president. That's you?
I'm the most suitable candidate I know.
Yeah, so's your mom.
Yeah, right.
Don't forget to wipe. How's the campaign, Ernest?
You'll vote for me, won't you?
Yeah, not a chance.
What if I pay you?
Pay me? Now you're talking.
I always knew I was a born leader.
Yeah, but unless you buy everyone's vote, you're never gonna win. Because they are definitely gonna ruin your speech at the debate.
Unless I had a security manager. Oh, please, please,
I don't know. Security managers, they cost a lot of money.
I have money. I can pay you.
Good. I've always been a politician at heart.
We attached their own onboarding documentation to the last software switch, which showed no such thing. Caitlin's digital signature approving the termination was
I want to be
just 50 minutes before my meeting. That alone would cost them more than her salary. From where I sat, it all unfolded like a security camera on mute. Frantic motion, but no sound. No one spoke to me directly anymore. I was no longer a person. I was a line item, a fire, a cautionary tale waiting to go viral if they blinked wrong. They didn't understand what they'd done, not just to me, but to themselves. Because while they were scrambling to find a way out, I was already watching the walls shift. Vendors stalling, payment approvals held up, a client emailing to say they hadn't received onboarding docs for new integration.
Welcome.
A project tracker blinking I used to maintain
I won't mince words, my friends. This school needs help.
You suck! I'm gonna kick your ass!
Hey, stop it!
Suck on me!
My help.
What's up, maggot?
How many of you out there feel abused by society? Let down. Ouch! This is intolerable! Brutalized. I feel your pain, my children. Do not dislike it. Ouch! That's just not right! By choosing me as your leader.
Don't give up, Ernest! A new recipe for pound cake. Careful, whatever.
We will. Ow! Why is this happening?
You want me to beat on you?
Abusive prefect? Give Lackluster teaching. Gone.
Run!
Physical education. Gone. Ow! What is this happening? Homework will be the model. Ouch! This is not right. Artist.
I've got your pound cake right here.
Money no longer wasted on silly music tracks. Conan, have you believed
You start!
that sports are more meaningful for your future than decent textbooks and competent teachers? What? Have sports you like to you, except not good enough. Cause pain and misery. I've got a new recipe for pound cake. Don't mess with me. While my opponent is also being more popular. I'm gonna kick your ass. Good looking and muscular. Ernest, you're a dork. And have the attention of the school district. Ouch! This is intolerable! Were you looking at her? Just doesn't have what it takes to be president. Hey, stop it! You want me to whip you, huh? In closing, remember, a vote for E means a vote for me. Thank you, everyone. Good night.
Was airtight. Her signature was time-stamped in the classification report that was now on the landmine layer in the system I knew, and they'd forgotten to map. I made tea, sat by the window, watched the late summer.
I should teach lessons or something.
They thought I was done, but I had just begun. It was Sunday morning, kind of finally caved. She called at 8:32 a.m. Voice thick with that forced cheeriness corporate folks use when they know they've stepped in it, but still think a smiley tone can mop it up. Hi, Laura. Just wanted to reach out personally. She began, stretching the word personally like a yoga man about to snap. We really value everything you've contributed to the company, and I'd love to offer a little goodwill gesture, you know, just to help ease the transition.
Okay, that's...
Desperate and hoping you'll settle cheap. She launched into her pitch like she was
You
reading
think you can give me a hand?
with Operation Damage Control.
There's this girl.
$75,000 as a severance, plus a 3-month healthcare extension. And of course, this was her favorite part, the standard confidentiality agreement, just to keep everything clean. That NDA was doing a lot of heavy lifting in her mind. I let her talk. Let her rehearse the lines legal probably fed her. Let her believe for exactly 2 minutes and 42 seconds that this was her olive branch moment. Her triumphant save. Then I opened my email, found the last thread from James, my lawyer, and hit forward. Subject line unchanged. No body text, no commentary, just the entire chain intact, including the clause, the math, and the summary that made grown men in suits sweat through their ergonomic mesh chairs. I sent it while she was still talking. There was a pause mid-sentence. I imagined her eyes scanning it. The moment her voice caught, like she just swallowed something sharp. Oh, she said softer now. You're going that route. I didn't respond. I just waited. Silence again, doing more than words ever could. She tried to recover, but her confidence was leaking out of her like air from the I mean, obviously we respect your rights, but I just thought maybe we could resolve this amicably before it becomes messy. Too late, I thought, but I let her twist for a second before hanging up without a word. 10 minutes later, I got a text from one of the junior HR reps. Jamie, bless her. Poor thing never had a poker face in meetings. She just sent a screenshot, no caption. It was from the internal HR Slack accidentally posted in the wrong channel. It showed Caitlin's name above a panic message to the executive thread. How did we miss this? This clause is a landmine. Legal said her original contract was standardized. We'll prove this. A few messages below it. CFO Rich, this isn't a landmine. It's a data crater. GC Allen.
Hey! That's use of deadly force!
We're gonna hear from someone who just listed as executives. If this was toast, her clause isn't the only one from that era. There are 6 others. I stared at the image for a long moment, and let out a laugh. Short, sharp. Too loud for a quiet Sunday morning. Scared the cat off the windowsill. It was the sound of inevitability catching up. They were trying to
I put a costume in your
they were trying to save themselves. They tried to wake up the woman who smirked when she slid that box across the table. She was unraveling, her grips slipping. Her legacy already rotting before it was written. I brewed another cup of tea, watched the Slack screenshot again like it was an Oscar-nominated short film. There was a storm coming. Not from me. I didn't need to swing. I just had to hold the line and let gravity...
Hey, what's going on?
Not much. I was just lying here wishing I could be more like you.
Whatever.
But I'm cursed.
Yeah? Really?
Yeah?
Pokeballs out.
Do you know what torture it is to be thinking all the time? No, of course you don't.
Yeah, you're cursed. You're great. Whatever. What else is going on?
Not much. Let me see. It's Halloween. All the prefects are at some party and the teachers are entertaining. I use that word loosely. The kids. No, I'd say the opportunities for fun are pretty much nil.
What do you have in mind?
Come on, you'll see.
That's what that clause meant. If I had one, who else did? Suddenly, the thing they thought was a one-off oversight became...
Let's go get Pete. I got a real nice costume.
Guys, I look like a jerk.
Because she wanted to impress someone with a spreadsheet and a body count. Inside the building, panic mutated into paranoia. I didn't have access anymore, of course, but that didn't stop the texts. Tanya, corporate affairs. 3 VPs just requested HR polls from 2003 to 2008 hires. You started something. David, is it true your clause wasn't renegotiated?
Can you help me, sir?
Watch it.
I really appreciate you doing this, sir.
Sounds okay.
Oh, thank you.
Call the yard stick.
Thank you.
I didn't need to. Well, then, now
Green
was a
bird.
year.
Oh,
It was a year of precedent. My silence became its own echo chamber. No interviews, no press, not even a social post.
I need a
Just
plan.
the knowledge that somewhere out there, the woman they called a relic, the one who left without mind, was still watching, still waiting. And now they were doing my work for me, digging up the past with pale faces.
Hey, Jimmy! Think you can help me out? It's a little complicated. But here's the deal.
My clause had never been secret. It was there the whole time. They just stopped reading. Assume tenured insults.
How's it going?
That loyalty could be trimmed like
The administration here is really good.
Look, I hate to ask, but I need your help.
Yeah, I'm game.
Thanks. Need a place called the Hole.
That's what I heard, too. I was thinking... This place is really beginning to disappoint me. You think... Just to let you know.
Don't push me.
That's it! I've had it! Let's go!
Highlighters on the cap. Attorneys summoned.
Was that supposed to hurt?
Titles like legacy compensation, exposure phase 1. They didn't say my name out
Could you help me, Jimmy? Please? Okay, I'm in.
and I hadn't even
Thanks.
read the voice. They say the
You're
voice
mine now!
doesn't show. It's silence after someone drops a truth. Never dared touch his sympathy over until now. That silence came just after the general counsel cleared his throat. The termination was executed without a compliance review. The standard flag of protocol. Pause. Then the CEO, Michael, once shook my hand at all day work without remembering I'd been running his back enough since he was still CFO. Slammed his phone on the
It's nothing big. Let's do
It's quite
this.
simple, really.
process.
Thank you kindly.
Processes, they only work when people respect them.
Think again. Be careful.
Why does Hopkins come sort of reasonable? That's funny.
No compliance routing, no review, no audit. Right there in bold was her name and a big red check mark next to the phrase ready to proceed.
Okay, here's the deal. We're gonna feed Chad's dog some of this rancid meat. Wait for him to take a dump, and then...
What the hell? I'm out of here.
Whatever, Pete. Okay, let's do this, Jim. I'll explain the rest later.
I think it's a burning bag of poop thing.
And that's where the email started. A partner for
Hey, what are you doing to Chester? Who's this big bad dad? You are.
asking if the operational liability
Here you go, boy. How about a little trick for a treat? Yum, 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 yum. That's gross.
expenses the cracks were no longer they were public ID when James called again.
Score!
Burning bag of poo.
All right, let's go to the teacher's lounge. You lead on.
But the documents don't lie. Your clause was in plain sight. Their own onboarding archive confirms it. I didn't say anything for a second. Just listen to the sizzling of the
No.
Take up the gas stove.
One
They're
day.
drafting an amended settlement proposal. He continued. All the grant plans. They tried to find out. And waiving the NDA request just to avoid the
I
outcomes.
can sleep.
Of course, they were because the silence that
I can show you the poo. Slimy, nasty, splendid.
No press release was issued. No apology made. The shit was real. An internal memo went out to department heads. All terminations
You're
now required outside compliance review. Malin's name wasn't mentioned, but everyone knew. I'd become the ghost in the hallways, the clause in the contract, the lesson etched into process docs and emergency playbooks, all without lifting a single finger in retaliation. I didn't destroy them. I just let them walk straight into their own trap, blueprint in hand. The call came on a Wednesday. Just
Don't worry, it'll be funny.
Okay, get ready! What the devil is going on out here? Oh, God damn it! Nice work, Jimmy.
Gotta be someone to beat.
No gag order, no lawsuit, just closure.
Are you looking to get punished?
Not because I screamed, not because I tweeted.
There!
Resigned that morning, not announced, just disappeared from the org chart like she never existed. Her exit was handled with a sterile thank you for your contributions email blast, signed by someone in operations who had never met her. I doubt she packed her own box. I told James to give him the go-ahead and mailed over my acceptance. Signed, timestamped final. And just like that, the war ended with a signature. Mine.
I am not
after. No victory dance, no champagne, just silence. That'd be full enough. I opened my old work inbox one last time. My access reinstated for 24 hours to transition files. Though we all knew there was nothing left to transition. Most of my systems had already outlived the three-month fire. I typed one email, simple, clean subject, final note to ops team, finance, support, legal, and a few brave souls in compliance take care of the place. I won't be watching, but someone will. I hit send, then logged out for good. Outside, the air had shifted. Leaves skittered across the pavement. The trees had turned without anyone noticing, like they always do. Quiet, unstoppable, golden. I walked out into it. Contract sealed, payout secured, legacy intact. My badge was still in my pocket. I could have dropped it in the return bin by the reception desk, but I didn't. I kept walking past the building, past the front lot where new hires still parked, and past the space where my name had once been printed, past the elaborate note dusty. As I crossed the street, my phone lit up. 17 unread messages, media inquiries, headhunters, 2 investor types asking if I'd be open to consulting on operational architecture for scale-based works. One even called me the compliance firm. I turned the screen over, let the messages keep piling up. I just
Go
raised the
back!
Get back here! You're the real MVPs of the office job. Thanks for watching. Smash that subscribe button or the coffee button. Just forget your next brew.
Dude is not the brightest bulb in the box.
Imagine you're a law-abiding hunter in rural South Carolina. You do your best to follow the law, but you get arrested anyways, just because 2 game wardens like your brand new truck and they want to seize it and tow it and keep it for themselves.
This is going to be a career-making case. The thing is, it'll make their careers just not here and they go to
2 game wardens set up a sting using a decoy deer in a field next to a road. They saw a guy.
Shall we get started then? And please, no talking.
He did not shine a light on it. He didn't shoot at it. He just looked at it and then drove away. He did nothing illegal, but he was an irresistible target for these 2 officers. Then he hires a lawyer. She obtains the body cam footage. At what she saw, she got the charges dropped and has filed a lawsuit on his behalf. You just put your hands up and let her say
Damn it!
Imagine you're a law-abiding hunter in rural South Carolina. You do your best to follow the law, but you get arrested anyways, just because 2 game wardens like your brand new truck want to seize it and tow it and keep it for themselves.
This is going to be a career-making case. It's not the way that they thought it was going to.
2 game wardens set up a sting using a decoy deer in a field next to a road. They saw a guy just stop, look was an irresistible target for these two officers. Then he hires a lawyer. She obtains the body cam.
Damn, I'm good.
Shocked at what she saw. She got the charges dropped.
All right.
A lawsuit on his behalf.
I wish someone would cause trouble.
Hey, you look nice. There's just so much to do. Help your fellow Coolworth Academy.
I sometimes feel like it's just not worth it, you know?
New CEO shredded my defense.
That's bad, right?
Yield your patents. Now get out. What he didn't know, those patents protected every U.S. Navy destroyer. I replied, actually, you just killed Pentagon Systems. 2 days later, he was arrested for treason. You know that sound a paper shredder makes? That grinding mechanical whine like metal teeth chewing through bone in a quiet Pentagon contractor boardroom with expensive air conditioning and crystal water glasses. That sound cuts right through you. I sat at the far end of that mahogany table, hands flat on the cold wood to keep them steady. My name's Richard Thompson. I'm 49 years old.
Got it.
I was about to watch my life's work get fed into a machine. The head guy at nursing home job spiked as the theater unfolded at the head of the table. Lawrence stood there in his $4,000 suit, holding my original employment contract from 18 years ago.
Hiya.
Stain and all, right there in the bottom corner.
Hi. I'm so glad
Hey,
you're
girl.
here.
And a smile that never reached his short face. We need to be agile.
Oh, hi.
Like he was addressing defense contractors. Legacy agreements like this are anchors. They hold us back from our true valuation trajectory in the modern defense market. He looked right at me, not apologetic, triumphant. Richard, you've had a remarkable run. No one denies the contributions from the days. We're a team at a
Yo, really?
We need forward-thinking innovation. Legacy maintenance of outdated signal processing. He didn't wait.
I sure hope it would.
Just turned to the
Be
industrial
on time is to be late.
the machine forward to life. This is a simple infraction in defense technology. Show otherwise. How much of a signature disappears stroke by stroke. The same signature that swirled 18 years ago, when my fingers were still stained with circuit oil and my eyes bright with the thrill of building radar systems that could save pilots' lives. The board members, people I'd made rich, whose defense contracts were won by my 34 signal processing patents, studied their tablets or examined their cuticles. Not one met my eyes. These were
All right, you feckless maggots. We'll be playing dodgeball for the next while.
destroyers.
All right.
How I love the sound of boys crying in the morning.
Dusting his hands off and just taking out classified garbage.
There's nothing to fear but fear it.
Now,
Bucky doesn't lose.
My mom says I'll win.
This is my time to shine, so just know that.
I'm not afraid of you, loser brain.
See you during visiting hours. You guys don't have a hope in heck of winning.
Crush them like they deserve.
We will rock.
Walk to the elevator. It was long. The security guard assigned to escort me kept looking. Sorry, Rich.
We're gonna win because we're better.
Try not to lose this time, guys. Better fruit
No,
of
no
law.
challenge. We got the power of friendship behind our team.
you're still gonna lose, Mustard Seed?
Oh yeah.
Fuck you! Eat my dick. Jim is now done.
Taught signal
I
processing.
passed my class. Come back whenever you feel like teaching these wimps a few things.
18 years just like that. Back then, our
You better be taking notes.
ventilation and a mini fridge that leaked every Tuesday. We had
That was easy.
2 space heaters and a soldering iron that shocked you if you held it wrong. I'd come straight from the Navy after 12 years as a radar technician.
Why?
Something that mattered. I remembered sleeping under my desk because I was too close to a breakthrough.
All right, let's get some Pokeballs out.
The first time the device actually
I'm gonna bust your gut up and watch you bleed.
What the? I'm a physical specimen. You can't outrun me.
because the company had grown from startup to major Pentagon contractor that the original agreements were obsolete. He didn't know about the clause. I reached into my glove compartment and...
Bunch of thieving jerks!
What's up, Melvin?
Greetings.
Michael Davidson.
Jimmy, listen. Some ruffians took it upon themselves to steal my Grottos and Gremlins character sheets and won't return them. We're playing tonight. The whole situation is untenable.
Grottos and Gremlins? Boy, you are sad.
Sad? I'm distraught. Role-playing is the high point of human achievement. In fact, upon reflection, I am prepared to offer a bag of groats to the fair knight, whomsoever recovers these precious screens. Do you accept the quest?
How much?
10 groats.
What?
I mean 10 bucks.
Wait here.
And you can have your pick of my wenches.
Great.
Yeah, you don't have any there, Butterball.
This is the funnest piece of paper I've ever had. What? You forgot your pus-eating boots or whatever?
I have to remember to tape that show.
I wonder, could she see you?
Dude, you're civil!
Made a speech about defense sector evolution. A shredder. That's perfectly cliche and legally stupid. He really thinks the physical paper controls Pentagon contracts.
You can't catch me from over there, nerd! Come on! At least try to catch me. Dude, you're slow!
This was the trap I'd set 15 years ago. When the company was full of people that had treated better.
Come on! At least try to catch me. You can't catch me from over there, nerd! You really... Stop that! Locked on target! Yeah, my nose! Look at that. I am going to beat you now.
Why are you hitting me?
Against the rules.
Hello, you in the flesh.
It's passive monitoring. The patent registry numbers are linked to a digital token that validates our Pentagon contracts. The company holds the operational lease. I hold the master key.
Victor.
This gets unlocked on my payroll.
Thank you.
Automatically pays the escrow server. I operate like a submarine commander who just lost.
Oh, come on!
Doesn't receive a call.
No such thing as magic, Get that over! Slay him!
Michael checked his watch.
Might find a use for that.
10 a.m. It's now 2:30 p.m. Clock's ticking, and Lance doesn't even know there's a bomb under his desk. I spent the next 24 hours in full tech.
Light.
Set up my command post in the airport. 3 monitors, secure VPN connection, probably strong enough to fuel the destroyer's boiler room. I couldn't access company servers directly with my revoked clearance, but I didn't need to. I knew the architecture of every system.
Alright, you got something of Melvin's. Give it up!
Pings in the Pentagon.
Alright, I'll give it to you. You beat my friend in a little game. He kicks you in the nuts, you kick him in the nuts until one of you gives up. If you win, you get the sheet. If not, we keep it. That's just stupid. Maybe, but I go first. That's some funny stuff right there. Okay, you win.
That's for me.
See you later, maybe.
Mr. Winters claimed military specifications were more complicated, and that commercial sensors would be adequate for defense contracts. Electromagnetic interference, but he said cost reduction was the primary
Why'd anyone throw this away?
God breather!
Radar validation systems down. Pentagon portal show. License expired warnings. All defense contracts showing authentication failures.
Try harder than that.
Watching the chaos unfold. New diagnostics. All gap facing programs. Response times are flatlining across all Department of Defense functions. Digital East expired right on schedule.
Trouble.
10:30 a.m. Reports Dutch report. Politico 2. 10:45.
You recovered my precious documents! Thank you, sir! You are a noble man indeed!
Not
Just give me
really.
the money, Melvin. You have earned it! And don't forget about the wenches! Brilliant! All right!
Now he sounded like a submarine captain whose reactor had just scrambled. We seem to be experiencing
Job well done.
difficulties with our Pentagon contracts. Defense systems are showing license validation errors. I know. I wrote those validation protocols. Long silence. The kind of silence you get when someone realizes they just triggered a torpedo they didn't know was in there. This is sabotage of a defense contractor. That's federal crime territory, Richard. Treason charges. FBI, NSA, the whole alphabet will reach your door within the hour. It's not sabotage, Lawrence. It's contract law. You should have read the fine print before you shredded the document that kept defense patents operational. The contract is destroyed. Standard is how you shred it was just a backup. The real terms were digitally registered with the Pentagon's contractor database 5 years ago. Clause 14, subsection B. Automatic reversion of all intellectual property rights upon termination without rules cause.
All I need now is a...
Alright, bathroom coffee, right back, hang tight. Let's hope the system doesn't just weirdly shut down again.
System. They're all on again. You're completely insane. The company owns everything you developed on company time, not according to the Founders Protection Protocol the Pentagon required when we became a classified contractor. They didn't have money to pay your salaries for experienced aging personnel, so they offered me intellectual property insurance instead. Teach us to hire the land, technology. Selling our defense technology to Chinese competitors. It gets worse. Michael pulled out server logs I've never seen before.
Whew.
And also photographed unusual activity in the server. High-tech data transfers that don't match any authorized backup schedules. I cross-referenced
Bottle rockets and plans will be all...
Every time Stephen Walsh was in the building, massive data transfers occurred from our classified development servers. This changes everything, I said. Lawrence wasn't just planning to fire me to cut expenses.
There you are. Come on, I found something incredible.
Hold on, relax, man. I can't keep getting in trouble. I can't get expelled again.
It's always about me, you. Me. I'm thinking bigger picture, and you're worrying about getting into trouble? You know what? You really are something.
What bigger picture?
We are gonna take over the school.
We are not taking over anything right now.
Time and tide waits for no man, my friend. But it seems they do wait for a wannabe tough guy who's nothing but a little girl.
You're full of it.
So you keep telling me, look, now come on, I promise you, after this, things are never going to be the same again. Oh, I'm so excited. I should have stopped taking those pills ages ago.
Yeah, right. Whatever you say, Gary.
Let's see how this plays out, eh?
The silence on the line was deafening. The mention of Walsh, a name that appeared on multiple Pentagon watch lists, was like dropping a depth charge in the conversation.
I just don't understand the minds of troublemakers.
Charles said tomorrow, 9 a.m. Full board to D-Liaison present. Lawrence will be there. If I attend that meeting, I want 3 things. First, Michael Davidson represents me as legal counsel. Second, Kevin Murphy provides his security testimony. Third, server access logs for the past 60 days are presented to DOD representatives.
Hey, idiots! Jimmy's gonna kick your ass! Right, Jimmy?
What is this, a marathon? I'm gonna enjoy this. Come on, Panty, that's all you got, and it's gonna be a breeze. Get this, Ruffles crew.
Come here, Skull!
So you're gonna start fighting?
You're gonna hate me forever. Teach you a lesson.
Pokeball's out.
Probably a congressional investigation. Good. Lawrence thought he was just firing an old engineer to streamline operations.
After you!
He was trying to steal technology that's currently protecting every American destroyer in the Pacific. I opened my laptop and began...
This is a little different than how I remember it.
Every patent, every algorithm, every classified...
I think that switch over there controls
the past 18 years. Tomorrow, I wouldn't just be defending my own ledger of tomorrow, I'd be defending American naval superiority against corporate...
Now, what to do with this?
I think that switch over there controls your door.
Leave. 3 days ago, I had been escorted out like a security risk. Today, I walked in, flanked by Michael, who carried himself like a JAG officer heading into court-martial proceedings.
You're really gonna like this, Jimmy.
Anyone want a piece of this?
That cage wasn't locked before.
Entirely on the door. Lawrence was pacing like a caged animal. Suit jacket on, tie loose, dark circles.
How about you climb through that hole and press the switch?
At the head of the table sat someone new. Commander Sarah Mitchell. Full dress uniform. Her presence transformed us from a corporate dispute.
Not here. Follow me.
This'll come in handy.
We need to resolve this system lockdown immediately. Pentagon contracts are hemorrhaging credibility. It's not a lot.
We can't get in there. How can we get at the switch?
Property protection. Authorized termination. Owen slammed his hands on the
You're not gonna room over something. Hit the switch.
Commander Mitchell. I developed an execution for sabotage of military contracts. I follow his reviews with precision. Mr. Pierce,
Jimmy, you dunce. Use your slingshot to hit the broom.
authorized meetings with Stephen Walsh. Would you like to explain to the DoD representative why a Chinese military electronics manufacturer has been visiting your office at midnight?
Jimmy, you dunce. Use your slingshot to hit the
Intelligence
broom.
expression went from administrative concern to
Would you hurry there, Jimmy? Now here's another. Down, power. Get the switch.
Mine. Okay, now we're talking.
Friends are weak. I can't believe I switched my meds again. I'm a genius. Geniuses don't need medication. Almost there.
Silence was absolute. Charles stared at the documents like they contained launch codes for nuclear weapons. Lawrence wasn't just trying to cut costs by firing. I continued. He was eliminating the old person who recognized large-scale theft of American naval defense technology. He needed me gone so he could complete the transfer.
A steam leak. I've heard of those houses. I've never seen one. Score! Oh, there's a fire extinguisher in plain view. Maybe that hit the fuel furnace. If you could lower the furnace temperature, then the steam would stop. There's a fire extinguisher in plain view. Maybe that hit the fuel furnace. Oh, there's a fire extinguisher in plain view. Maybe that hit. Quick, before it heats up again. Right down there!
Exhaustion and respect. Richard, what do you want? Your job back. Full reinstatement with security clearance. I pulled out a thick blue document.
So, Jimmy boy, here we are. The hole. The place where this separates the men from the boys. The wheat from the chaff and all that nonsense.
Okay, so what's that got to do with standing up to people, keeping them in line?
This is where I stand up to you, my friend.
What are you talking about?
I know you hate me, Jimmy boy. I know you said all that stuff about me behind my back.
What are you talking about?
Don't play innocent. You want to run this school? I want to run this school. Only one of us is going to make it. And it's going to be me!
Much cheaper than explaining to Congress how you lost naval superiority to Chinese knockoffs. Charles
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and morons, I give you Russell!
Oh, man. Gary, now I hate you.
I know, Russell. Go beat that little jerk who said that nasty stuff to me about your mom and those barnyard animals.
What? Come here. Russell wants vengeance.
Activation code into my laptop. The screen flashed green. Within minutes, phones were buzzing with
Scram!
I'm gonna tear you apart. Now you gonna hurt.
just helped in the copy room. He looked at my client's presentation. Why is there a cat meat on slide 14? I asked, staring at the screen like it had personally insulted me. Ryan, our IDG Path VP of...
So, Jimmy boy, here we are!
Team building lightens the tone. It's a Gen Z thing. This was a multi-million-dollar acquisition pitch. And slide 14.
Russell!
Are you gonna start fighting soon?
I smash you! I smash you!
Keep it up and you might get to hang with my boy. All right, Grand Chunk of Spirit. Keep it up and you might get to hang with my boy. Come on, guys.
God damn it!
You think this solves anything?
Make him I want to speak a dozen discrepancies between their internal projections and the figures they were planning to present. I asked for source files. Ryan responded with a script. We've already got alignment. If this is your first time here, do me a small favor. Tap subscribe and hit like. That small click is what keeps the lights on around here.
So, Jimmy boy, here we are.
Stories. Thanks for supporting the team. Anyway, alignment. Funny word. In Ridge Path speak.
Be part of warrior focus!
Back the hell up!
Now you gonna hurt!
I did what any seasoned consultant does when she's handed or not wrapped in a ribbon. I smiled, nodded, and started writing everything down. My own copy of the deck, my own timeline of revisions, screenshots, email thread. I wasn't just writing a pitch. I was building a parachute because I knew two things going in. One, acquiring firm was known for diligence bordering on paranoia. And two, this kind of
Jimmy boy, here we are.
Always trips over its own tail. On Wednesday morning, the updated financials arrived on the show.
Are you even trying?
Dominate this scrimmage. It's a freaking
Shit!
You little coward! What's the matter? Can't take it?
Listening as one of the directors mumbled something about limiting exposure during integration. Exposure to what exactly? Truth numbers that don't screen fraud.
You happy now, jerk?
Ecstatic. I love to watch two morons beat the crap out of each other.
Why'd you do it, Gary? I thought we were friends.
He held a USB in one hand and a
Friends?
in the other.
You and me. I've taken dumps that had more brains than you, friend. No. I'm taking over this school, and you're just a liability. See you around, moron.
Well done, Jimmy. Yeah, great. What a waste of time. You all right, Russell?
Yeah?
Look, I never said anything about your mom or farmyard animals.
You did it?
No, but I want you to stop bullying weak kids.
Why?
Because there are a bunch of kids around this place who need a beating, and you're picking on the few who don't. So I want you to leave me and him alone.
Every time
Sorry.
I tried to sleep,
Bad Russell.
that smug little twitch in the corner of his mouth when I pointed out the missing audit trail on the vendor contracts.
Let's get some Pokeballs out.
He'd said, sipping his coffee like he'd invented the concept of evasion.
With Russell pacified, I could be forgiven for thinking my troubles at Bullworth were over. But this place is a rotten onion. Peel off one stinking layer, and there's another even smellier one beneath.
Bulldoze the deal that fixed the foundation. So I made a choice. If this was going to go up in flames, I'd make damn sure my fingerprints weren't anywhere near the match. Friday started with a calendar update. 8 a.m. Final strategy.
Well, Jimmy, word on the street is you're something of a pugilist.
No, sir, I never pugilized in my life.
Really? And that you've been saying some entertaining things about me and some barnyard animals.
No, I never said that.
Well, I listen to things, Hopkins. You try and stay out of trouble. Now go see the cook down in the kitchen. Helping her might teach you some humility.
Okay, sir.
Laughter inside.
Hey, new kid. You're that guy that beat up Russell.
So, what's it to you?
Hey, listen, we like to box, the noble art and all that. Why don't you come down by our gym in old Bullworth Vale? We should definitely hang out. Yeah, I've heard a lot of things about you.
Yeah,
I
whatever.
composed a short, precise email.
Okay.
Rich Paths, internal legal counsel. Carla, a woman I'd met twice, but remembered vividly for her resting lawsuit face and talent for spotting weak contracts before the ink dried. Subject, investor packet access body. Hi, Brian. I understand the materials are still evolving, but given the timeline and our shared goal...
I really need some help. Okay, now all we gotta do is get back to the library and give it to those rich scumbags. You just bumped into me.
5 minutes, no response. 10-0. At minute 13, Ryan strode into my space like he just won a courtroom drama on CBS. Let's chat, he said. I followed him down the hall into a glass-walled huddle room. He didn't sit, just stood there, arms folded like a human LinkedIn post. I saw your email, he said, smiling without warmth. Carla really doesn't need to be looped into every formatting question. Formatting? Sure, because a missing valuation model.
That felt brutal.
Or just spicy lines. I kept my expression neutral. I'm just trying to ensure everything's aligned before Monday. Ryan stepped closer, close enough that I could smell his eucalyptus hand sanitizer in desperation. Let me be clear, he said, lowering his voice. You're not here to lead, Samantha. You're to support. I don't need legal comment on every insecurity you have. There it was. Not a confrontation, a correction. A warning shot dressed up as mentorship. A man reminding a woman exactly where she stood in his eyes outside the perimeter of relevance. I nodded. Understood. He smiled. Victory declared.
I gotta remember.
Something clicked. Not anger, not even embarrassment, just clarity.
You know the lunch lady's old.
I was afraid of being seen, and his worst nightmare was someone like me dragging his PowerPoint palace into the sunlight. So I let him leave thinking he'd won. Then I got to work. Back in my hotel that night, I opened a private drive, created a folder named Ridge Path
Jim, go stand over by the bike workstation. Wait, I don't get to work on cars? Cars are for seniors. You gotta walk before you can run, boyo.
Because let's just say Ryan didn't always watch his volume in public spaces. I built a second copy of the investor deck, my version. No names, no lingo.
Better try that again, son.
Cautious projections, real slides, real numbers, a version of the truth that should have been presented. This was no longer about survival. This was about...
Maybe you're just not cut out for this. Start over.
I showed up an hour early, airtight bag, laser crisp, laptop underwater, and a backup charger.
That ain't right. Do it again. What part of shut up and work didn't you understand?
I'm not 100% sure what they... Like, I was hitting the fucking input. As far as I could tell.
Come in. I've got to tell you something.
Bullworth Prefect, halt immediately!
Ah, I needed those! Keep doing that, I'll beat you!
But the rules don't care. You're not on the guest list. I've been working on this presentation for 2 weeks. That must be a mistake. She showed me the list. Ryan's name highlighted, half his team highlighted mine. I can't override it. She said, apologetic.
Halt immediately!
Last changes now. Executive sponsor. Ryan, of course. I stepped aside. No screaming, no scene, just stillness. My palms itch for my phone. I open Slack. Message is silent. I ping Ryan just at the elevator. Guest access issue. Can you buzz me up? Nothing. I waited 2 minutes. 3. I heard it echoing from the hallway behind the front desk. Laughter. His voice. She'll miss it.
School rules are quite clear on this subject. Quite clear. No alcohol on school grounds. You're drunk. I can smell it on your breath. I can see it in your eyes.
I'm not drunk.
Drunk? In charge of children. What kind of nonsense drinks in front of children?
Parent?
A disgraceful one, yes. You've got a problem, haven't you?
I'm just under a lot of pressure.
Well, I'm a kind and supportive colleague, Galloway. And as such, I think it is my duty to get you sacked.
Do whatever you want, Patrick. You always do.
The head will find out about this.
You okay, sir?
Jimmy. No, I'm not okay. I'm half drunk and I'm about to get fired. Fantastic.
The one with truth in the margins.
Oh, I'm a washed-up old drunk and I'm only 34. English, you see, is a difficult subject to teach. I've tried any number of things to dull the pain. Yoga, meditation, needling, looking at dubious sites on the internet. But nothing dulls the pain like scotch.
Come on, sir, put that away.
Are you mad? This is manna from the gods!
Give me that! Let's get rid of this before you get busted.
Very kind of you, Jimmy. Miss Phillips is the only teacher to know about my vice. Take it to her. She will know it.
Every corner smelled like burnt coffee and executive compromise. I passed a catering tray full of untouched fruit kebabs, a maintenance cart with a wobbling wheel, and a framed motivational quote that read, "Success is 1% luck, 99% logistics." Fitting. Then I heard it, a sharp mechanical groan from the copy room, followed by a muttered curse. I turned the corner and saw him, a man in navy coveralls, kneeling beside an industrial printer that looked like it had just tried to eat its own paper tray. He had one hand gripping a twisted ream of paper, the other tapping the side like he was bargaining with a misbehaving horse. Need a second pair of hands? I asked, already rolling up my sleeves. He looked up, middle-aged, a little scruffy around the edges. Tight eyes, the name patch on his chest, said Cal. Only if you're certified.
Looks like that freaking gal.
Passed that course with honors. I did bid. Together we yanked the jam pages free. The machine worked. They resumed printing, spinning out small random documents. The logo and something that looked like an integration link back. I stacked the salvaged pages neatly, then wiped toner off his hands with a rag that probably started white in a different lifetime. You were here.
The only difference between me and the Gray is what's in our song.
Supposed to be in a meeting that's happening without me. He raised an eyebrow. Sounds about right. Clean like cracking a window after weeks of recycled air. You might go with a copper prize.
I think I'm not getting any time off this year.
Take me around. I smell like that. Yeah. Corners of the same circus, catching the moment of normal in a hallway designed to suppress it. What's your name? He asked. Samantha, I said. Just Samantha. Well, just Samantha, he said, holding out his toner smudged hand. Thanks for the rescue. I shook it. His grip was warm, solid. Anytime I said, he nodded, gathered the printed document.
God damn it!
The side door, disappearing into the concrete arteries of the building. He stared
What
at
a
the
pompous
cover,
ass.
now purring like a content cat. Then I caught my reflection in the glass. Toner strand across my wrist, a smudge on my blazer, and a faint shadow under my eyes. Too many nights squinting in balance sheets under bad hotel lamps. Perfect. I walked back toward the elevator. Still no call, still no access. So I did the only thing left to do.
What do you...
I hear you're mechanical too, but I'm not
Outside the main presentation. My blazer was wrinkled, my shoes pinched. There was literal toner on my neck, but my head was high. My spine was still because I may have been shut out, but I hadn't been shut off. When I finally stepped into the room, it felt like walking into a theater mid-play. Every eye pivoted, every breath hitched like I just disrupted a sacred ritual. My entrance wasn't grand, just late, invisible. Toner strand tossed from the stairwell, blazer slightly crooked. A consultant out of sync with the curated script Ridge path that rehearsed in the mirror. Brian looked up from his seat at the head of the table, flanked by his apostles of mediocrity, and unleashed it. Sharp, cruel, rehearsed. Well, did you crawl out of printer? The room chuckled, not because it was funny, because they were trained to laugh when he opened his mouth. I didn't respond. I didn't roll my eyes, fix my jacket, or wipe the toner off my collar. I simply walked to the empty seat at the far end of my seat.
That's
There was
just
another
beneath
loud
me.
the one placed deliberately just outside the main
Why are
window.
boys so confusing? I just don't get them.
Looking up. Let him pin. Let him imagine that insult landed. That I was embarrassed, shaken, cowed. The silence that followed was louder than his cheap jab. The acquiring firm hadn't arrived yet. Side of the table was still empty. Chairs lined in a row like judgment waiting to be seated. A tray of untouched coffee sat between us, steam barely curling upward. The air was tight with performance anxiety, the kind of brittle tension you only get when people think they're 5 minutes from cashing in their prize. Across the room, I caught the eye of a junior staffer. Emily, I think her name was someone from operations who had been tasked with keeping the slide decks aligned, emailed me twice last week. Both times late at night, both times to say, sorry, I don't know why they removed your edits. Her mouth now just barely. Sorry, I wasn't enough. No smile, no forgiveness, just no. Brian cleared his throat. Eager to recruit attention,
You should not have done that.
the projector lit up his version of the dagger.
Mom will be upset.
Financials that days when he drove tacos to the bounce house. Let's make sure we're aligned before they arrive. He said in a tone that suggested he believed he was channeling Nobody corrected him. He ran through the course of his slides like he was auditioning for a keynote he'd never get. It's like a spreadsheet, scalability, and innovation stack fell out of his mouth and chewed gum. No one questioned him. Not the directors, not the analysts, not even the exec assistant perched behind a laptop like a stenographer in a virtual news. I watched, listened,
Johnny, your disturbing behavior towards Darby Harrington has been known to please report to Dr. Bradley.
I was busy deleting my name from the guest list and adding a slide.
I really like your outfit.
In my ribs that something tectonic was about to shift.
I wonder what is...
I wouldn't need to raise my voice. I'd already done the work. Now I just need to Is anyone else here? A polite click, the kind that wouldn't startle a soul, but still managed to steal the room like a gunshot. Ryan's chest puffed up immediately. He stood like a game show host about to hand out a new car. Mr. Halpern, he beamed, striding toward the
Really
door.
need to beat someone
The
soon.
smile locked in place like it had been boosted into position.
I don't ever want to graduate and give up being a prefect.
The man who stepped in.
Someone needs to be punished for this.
Then you graduate. You got some free time, baby?
Do you have something special for me?
You could feel the shift like someone turned gravity sideways. It was Cal, the man from the cover. No coveralls now. Different checkbook gray. Quiet confidence and a gaze that swept the room. Like
Jimmy, buddy, I need your help.
Train harder.
Hey, Jimmy! How fast can you stuff losers into rockets?
I'm in.
Cool, thanks.
I've been thinking. Why were we trying so much for there? $20 is
Not a smile. Exactly. Something small.
Going to run from fight at full.
He said, it's measured.
You know you're not supposed to be doing that.
Sat down. He said, just like that. You could hear it. The silence. The next turning sliding off the table set too fast. I didn't speak. I didn't gesture. I didn't even adjust my posture. I just reached into my bag, pulled out the real tag, the clean one, the true one, and slid it across the table, slowly and silently.
Hopkins, you may not, I repeat, may not go there.
Slides. Then he nodded just once like the pieces were all landing exactly where he thought they would. He tried to recover. He said,
The Bulwark Press.
This is fabricated.
Why are boys so confusing? I just don't get them. I wish I could go to a thing. I really love bunnies. They're so nice.
Changed.
I hope I get into a good college. Don't worry, I'll let you out tomorrow, friend.
I'm not gonna Dr. Livingston.
Ryan remained standing out.
I can't believe Lola actually talked to me.
Everything I had to say was printed in margins, corrected projections, footnotes intact on 37 pages in Mr. Halpern's hands. And right now he was reading. Mr. Halpern adjusted his glasses, leaned forward slightly, and tapped a single page in the revised deck Ryan handed him. He said, even, but with a new sharpness. Revenue assumptions. I see a 24% year-over-year
Right now.
based on what? Cleared his throat and snapped to attention like a high schooler caught texting.
The law always wins.
Digital pipeline growth.
Motherfucker.
Towards several enterprise accounts that haven't been fully realized in our current quarter, but we anticipate which accounts. Mr. Halpern asked. Ryan blinked. Hard names, logos, signed contracts.
Pokeball's out.
Well, one is still in procurement, and the other is making an invitation, but verbally committed. So, neither are closed. Mr. Halpern said flatly. Ryan chuckled weakly. We like to stay ahead of the curve. Mr. Halpern didn't laugh. He turned the page. And your COGS ratio here. Are you calculating a reduction to 18% when the last 3 quarters have averaged closer to 27%? Ryan looked at his screen, then at the printout, then back at his screen. I didn't offer help, just sat hands in the watching the dam start to leak. Mr. Halpern didn't wait. He flipped to another page. This client insurance slide says you retain 97% of your top tier accounts, but your service logs you for those, by the way, show a 42% drop in user activity from 5 of your top 10 accounts. Ryan's voice cracked as he tried to recover. There's some seasonality isn't a season, said one of Halpern's analysts without looking up. The room shifted again, not physically.
I suppose you want to train again?
So carefully inflated, was collapsing cell by cell. I believe those were
Good to see you haven't forgotten me. This was my favorite combination back when I had That's enough for now. Don't forget to bring me a transistor when you come back.
There we go. Done.
7% no retention in tier 1 accounts is closer to 60%. There are risks, but nothing unmanageable.
Guess you're not addicted to breathing, huh? That's all you got.
His eyebrows climbed. He leaned over to his colleague and whispered just loud enough for him to catch him. These numbers are fabricated.
Get back here right now!
His face went
I'm really starting to like that.
you can't fake. His mouth opened, but no words came out. Mister, Albert sat back in his chair. Eyes never leaving.
I sure hope nobody gives me away.
And shattered illusions. I've always preferred quiet professionals. He said calmly.
Don't be stupid!
To tell the truth.
Come on, just let me beat you!
I hope you enjoyed that as much as I did.
And his fell apart. Mr. Halpern closed the deck, laid it neatly on the polished table, and folded his hands in front of him. The room, once full of corporate peacocks and buzzword body armor, had gone still. You could hear the air conditioning, the faint click of a spoon in someone's long-forgotten coffee cup. And Ryan, his credit, looked like a man watching the last lifeboat get lowered from the Titanic without his name on the manifest. Well, move forward, Mr. Halpern said, voice steady, but with conditions. Every head turned. He didn't look at Ryan, didn't even glance his direction, starting with leadership.
So she doesn't want to get in this.
Fine. Forming some blend of, with all due respect, and you're making a mistake. But Halpern raised one finger. Finished. Then finally, he turned to me. Miss Quinn, he said, would you consider putting integration on our side? I stared at him for a beat, measuring the weight of the offer. Not because I doubted his sincerity, but because it felt like 100% just the switch, and I wanted to make sure I was still right. I gave a single nod. Yes, I would. Ryan made a sound halfway between a scoff and a cough. You can't be serious. She's not even a full-time employee. She's a temp consultant. Mr. Halpern leaned back. She's the only reason we're not walking away from this deal right now. You wasted our time, he said coldly. She saved it. The finality of that line landed like a gavel. No one came to Brian's defense. No one echoed his outrage. The directors looked at their tablets. The analysts double-checked their folders. One exec actually sneaked an answer closer to himself. Halpern's team began packing up, efficient wordless. They didn't need to say anything. The message had already been delivered. Ridgepath would survive the acquisition, but not under Brian's watch. We'll have our internal counsel reach out about your transition. Halpern added to me as he stood.
Hi!
The integration roadmap.
Hey, what's up?
Oh, hi!
What's going on?
I nodded again, and just like
Hey
that,
there.
I gathered my things, laptop, binder,
Sup?
and I nearly snapped in half 3 days ago. Now this blows.
You're ugly! Greetings and salutations!
Already knows how this will play out. Outside the wardroom, the hallway was still, but as I walked down it, same scuffed floors, same flickering overhead light, I began to hear the pings. Calendar invite integration planning kickoff. Calendar invite departmental alignment led by Squin. Calendar invite systems migration overview hosted by Squin. The notifications were hitting Ridgepath inboxes like slow rolling thunder. Behind me, the door opened. A junior staff Emily.
Nice!
Shut up! It adds flavor to it! You wanna give it a go?
Sure.
Thanks for joining the fun. You all the
Try and get some bits in it!
I've got performance anxiety.
Get used to it, kid. You're a man. It's all downhill from here, my friend. Anyway, what do you want?
Nothing. The headset.
He did? Oh, yeah! I need you to go to town and pick up some meat and other things for me. Otherwise, I'm gonna have to put one of Ms. Phillips' cats in the casserole again. Let me see. I need some meat from Yum Yum Market. Oh, and a razor from the barbers for my stash. And oh yeah, some new knickers from Warren Inn. I've had these on since last term. It's that fine machine out there by the school gate.
Right.
I did not need to know about the necklace. That was disgusting.
The kind where you hear the ice shifting in somebody's water glass 3 tables away. Margaret didn't look at me. She looked at her audience. She smoothed the front of her sage green mother of the groom dress, the one she'd insisted on, the one that was almost white in certain light, the one I'd chosen not to fight about, and she lifted the mic to her mouth with the confidence of a woman who had rehearsed this. "I'm sorry to interrupt," she said. "Not sorry at all, but this family deserves the truth before we go any further. My husband, well, technically he'd been my husband for about 47 minutes at that point, was standing next to me with champagne in his hand. Colton, he didn't move, didn't say mom, sit down, didn't even shift his weight, and that told me everything I needed to know about whether he'd been. How are you doing? She trapped my son, Margaret said, pointing at me with one manicured finger, holding the mic steady in her other hand. We have proof. I'm going to pause here because I need you to understand what kind of woman Margaret Hollenbeck is, and I need you to understand it fast. Margaret had been circling me since Colton first brought me to their lake house in Coventry Hills 3 years ago. Not circling like a predator, more like a building inspector looking for code violations. She checked my degree. She checked my family's address. She casually asked me, over grilled salmon and a bottle of Sancerre, whether I had any conditions she should have. I asked her what she meant. She said, genetic ones. Colton laughed it off. He always laughed it off. That was his entire operating system. Laugh, redirect, minimize. His mother once told me I should consider freezing my eggs just in case the timeline doesn't work out. He said she was being practical. She told his sister Brienne that I was not from the right school. He said I misunderstood the metaphor. I didn't misunderstand anything. But I
Welcome. Leave back something. People leave stuff lying around everywhere.
He was generous. He could fix anything mechanical and explain anything emotional, and he looked at me sometimes like I was the only stable thing in his entire bloodline. So I married him, and I told myself that Margaret was manageable. She did not mellow. 3 months before the wedding, she called Colton and told him she'd found something concerning about me. He didn't tell me what it was. When I asked, he said it was nothing. When I pushed, he said his mother had some theory and that he'd handle it. When I pushed harder, I married the wrong sister. Just let him deal with my family. I let him deal with his family. 1 month before the wedding.
You are lucky, my friend. No way too bad.
She sat across from me with a manila envelope and said, "I want you to sign a post-nuptial agreement." I told her we weren't even married yet. She said, "Exactly." I asked what was in the envelope. She said it was a financial separation clause to protect the Hollenbeck assets. I told her I had my own assets. She said, "I'm aware of your income." I told her I wasn't signing anything. She said, "Then you should know I've already spoken to
Hello!
the other matter." I asked what other matter.
Yes.
I left the cafe and told Colton everything. He called his mother. They spoke for 45 minutes. When he hung up, he told me she'd agreed to drop it. I asked what it was. I said it didn't matter because it was dropped.
I told you it was a good prize.
Colton's sister called me out of nowhere. She was crying. She said, "I just want you to know I didn't help her. Whatever she does at the wedding, I didn't help her." I asked what she was going to do. Brienne said, "I don't know exactly, but she's been making calls. She's been collecting something." And Dad told her to stop, and she told Dad to mind his own house. So when Margaret grabbed that microphone and heard 62 guests in the ballroom of the Fenwick estate that I booked with my own money, wearing a dress my dead grandmother's ring and helped pay for, I wasn't shocked. I was ready. She trapped my son, Margaret pleaded, louder now, making sure the background was in here. Uncle Vern at table 9 lowered his bourbon. My college roommate Darcy had her phone halfway recording. The caterers by the kitchen doors froze mid-step. This woman, Margaret, continued to my son, manipulated him into a relationship, accelerated the engagement, and is now legally binding herself to her family for one reason: access. She paused, dramatic, practiced, and we have proof. She reached into the small clutch she'd been carrying all night, sage green, matched the dress, and pulled out a folded sheet of paper. She opened it one-handed and held it up.
What do I care about those stupid
You better use that meat soon. The clerk said it expires at midnight.
Nonsense! There are no pussy eaters at Bullworth. It'll last for a month.
I set down my bouquet. I didn't throw it. I didn't slam it. I placed it on the edge of the head table, stem side in, petals facing outward, right next to my untouched glass of champagne. I straightened
That nonsense dealt with.
my dress, and I pulled my phone out of the hidden pocket my seamstress had sewn into the lining. Something Margaret didn't know about, because Margaret
I can't tell Mom about that at all. She'd be so mad.
That's all I needed. I dialed on the ringing speaker. I held it up high enough that the phone speaker would catch the room silence and return it with something louder. It rang twice. Tilly, the voice on the other end was female, calm, professional, but warm enough that you could tell she knew me. Are you okay? Is it happening? It's happening, I said. Put me on. I held the phone to her.
That shirt was right on you.
I had someone a glass of water after they'd been screaming. Margaret blinked. She still had the microphone in one hand and that
Do you
folded
have
paper in
something
the other.
special for me?
Colton looked at his shoes.
Yo, man.
Voice came through the speaker, clear and sharp enough that the front four tables could hear every word. Margaret, this is Dr. Renata Voss. I'm a board-certified geneticist with Kinsdale Diagnostics in Altoona. I'm also the lab director who processed the paternity test you ordered 3 weeks ago through your attorney, Howard Groove. You submitted it under your son's name using a hair sample from his bathroom and a cheek swab from a drinking glass, neither of which you had legal consent to collect from the parties involved. Margaret's face went white, not pale, white, like someone had siphoned the blood from her cheeks with a straw. The results of that test, Dr. Voss continued, which you have not yet received because they were flagged for a chain of custody violation, show that Colton Hollenbeck is not a biological match to Garrett Hollenbeck. The room didn't gasp. That's what people think happens. They think there's a collective intake of breath, a dramatic murmur. What happened was worse. Absolute silence. The kind of silence that has weight. The kind that sits on your chest. Margaret, Dr. Voss said, the paternity test shows your son is not Garrett's biological child. Margaret dropped the microphone. It hit the hardwood with a thud and a burst of feedback that screamed through the speakers and made half the room flinch. She didn't pick it up. She didn't say anything. She just stood there, her hand still frozen in the shape of the mic she was no longer holding, staring at a place somewhere between me and the exit. Let me tell you how I got here. 8 days before the wedding, Brienne called me again. This time she wasn't crying. She was furious. She told me Margaret had secretly ordered a paternity test. Not for me, for Colton. Margaret had become so consumed with the idea that I was some kind of
Okay, big man?
looking for leverage. Anything to
Hey, man, can you give me some TP? It's a bit of an emergency. Okay.
Operated out of a strip mall office in Pemberton, and she'd asked him to arrange a DNA comparison between Colton and his father, Garrett. The logic, according to Brienne, was insane but distinctly Margaret. She believed that if she could prove Colton was genetically superior, her word, she could use that as evidence that I was marrying above my biological station, and therefore must have ulterior motives. It made no scientific sense, but Margaret didn't need science. She needed ammunition. What Margaret didn't anticipate was that the lab she hired, Kinsdale Diagnostics, flagged the test. Chain of custody was broken. The samples weren't properly consented. And when the lab ran the test anyway, as they sometimes do for internal validation,
I was stuck.
the results came back
I was
with
thinking,
something
damn
different
it.
than life expected. Colton wasn't Garrett's son. Brienne found out because she worked part-time in Howard Green's
Hey.
office. She was the one who opened the sealed results when they arrived.
How you doing?
She read them. She called me, and she said, Tilly, my mother is about to blow up your wedding, but she doesn't know she's holding a grenade with a pin already out. I called Dr. Renata Voss directly. I identified myself. I told her what was happening. I told her my mother-in-law was planning to publicly accuse me of my own wedding using a test she
Hey,
did.
thanks a lot, big guy.
Dr. Voss was quiet for a long time. Then she said, I can't share patient results without consent, but if someone with standing calls me in a public setting and asks me to clarify information that's already being misrepresented, I have a professional obligation to correct the record. I asked her if she'd take my call on the night of the wedding. She said, I'll be by my phone. So there I was, standing in a ballroom with 62 guests, a dropped microphone, and a woman who had just discovered, in front of everyone she'd spent decades performing for, that her son wasn't her husband's. Garrett Hollenbeck was sitting at table 2. He hadn't moved. His napkin was still in his lap. His water glass was still in his hand. But his face had changed. Not shock, not anger. Something slower than that. Something geological. Like watching a cliff face realize it's been eroding for decades and the collapse has just started. He set the water glass down. He looked at Margaret. Margaret looked at no one. Colton, my husband, my brand new legally bound husband, turned to me and said, What did you just do? I said, I didn't order the test, Colton. Your mother did. You had no right. Your mother stood up in the middle of our wedding reception and called me a tramp. In front of my family. In front of my friends. In front of my dead grandmother's sister, who flew in from Kennett, Wyoming, at 81 years old because she promised my grandmother she'd see me married. Your mother did that. All I did was answer the phone. He didn't have a response. He opened his mouth, but nothing came out. His jaw worked like he was chewing on a sentence he couldn't swallow, and then he just turned and walked toward his mother.
You okay?
Dr. Voss was still on the line. Tilly, do you need anything else from me? No, thank you, Renata. Call me Monday. We should talk about next steps regarding the unauthorized sample collection. There are legal implications for his booth with a look on his face like he'd just watched a car accident.
I'm hungry already.
He said. He blinked. Yeah. What do you... Anything. Whatever was next on the playlist. He nodded, put his headphones back on, and a few seconds later, a song started playing. Something soft. Instrumental. It didn't matter what it was. It was noise. And noise meant the silence was broken. They did. Stopped. Forks picked back up. Glasses lifted. A few people leaned across tables to whisper. Darcy put her phone away. Uncle Vern drained his bourbon and flagged down a server for another. Margaret had not moved from the center of the dance floor. Colton was standing in front of her, holding her by both elbows, speaking to her in a low voice I couldn't hear. Brienne was at the edge of the room, arms folded, watching from a distance, her face carefully neutral. Garrett was gone. His chair was pushed back, his napkin on the seat, and the side door to the garden was closing behind him. That was the first crack. 15 minutes later, the second one came. Colton walked over to me at the head table. His face was drawn, his tie loosened, and he had the specific energy of a man who has just been handed information he cannot file correctly in his brain. We need to talk, he said. We're at our wedding reception, Colton. I know where we are. Then act like it. My mother is in the bathroom hyperventilating. And my grandmother's sister just watched her fly across the country to see me get publicly accused of being a con artist. So we all have problems. He sat down next to me. Not close. Next to me. There was space between us that hadn't been there an hour ago. Did you know? He asked. Know what? About the test. About my father.
Alright, folks. It is about that time. We're going to find the target to raid 2.
Brienne told me because she works in your mother's lawyer's office, and she opened the results, and she called me because
Alright, we are going to raid to a Marlin 2026, who is also playing Bully, the Scholarship Edition. So, be good to yourselves, each other, the planet, everything else. Have fun. Stay the fuck out of trouble. Exercise your rights, responsibilities, privileges, and or duties of wherever you happen to be from. As viewers, make sure you show that love and respect to streamers you watch, right? We really appreciate it. It makes our day. It makes all of this worth it. As streamers, show that same love and respect to your viewers. Because while we can do this job without them, it wouldn't be any fun, and honestly, what the fuck would be the point? Alright, this is your immortal Sith Emperor signing out for the night, saying, see you motherfuckers later. I'll be back tomorrow. Peace.
He didn't come back in 20 minutes. He didn't come back in 40. At the 1 hour mark, I was sitting at the head table alone, eating a piece of my own wedding cake, lemon lavender, 3 tiers, which I'd selected and paid for, when Brienne sat down across from me. He's in the parking lot with her, Brienne said. She's telling him you orchestrated the whole thing, that you planted the test, that you somehow manipulated the results. That's not even remotely possible. I know, but she's his mother, and I'm his wife. Brienne nodded. She picked up an unused fork and turned it over in her fingers. Garrett left. He drove off about 30 minutes ago. Didn't say anything to anyone. Just got in his truck and left. Can you